Okay, so first, do you have any question with this class? Let me know. Any question? Everything good? The guy you are online, do you have any question? Let me know. Any question? No. Okay. So if no question, we just go on with the lecture. We start on Monday. So you know that in the software development life cycle, right? The first one you understand for flow. The second one you apply the logic here. And in this class, you learn two ways you can apply the logic. The first one you can work with pseudocode, and the second one you work with the flowchart. So I will go over what is a pseudocode and what is a flowchart here. So pseudocode, it is a fake code. It's not the real code, right? So it helps you to understand the logic and build out the logic of program. And later on, when you understand the logic, you can convert from the pseudocode to any real programming language. Think about you convert it into the Python, or you convert it into the sorry C or C++. So basically, for the pseudocode program here, I strongly recommend you follow some of the open standard. So basically, you do not have strict rule for the pseudocode because it's an open standard, right? You can apply to whatever programming it is. But anyway, you should follow some of the recommendations, some of the suggestion here. For every program, you should start with the start and stop here, right? Because that it tell you where is the start of program and where is the stop of program here. That's the first thing, right? The first strongly recommend you use the start and stop for any program. You have the start and stop to tell you what is the start and stop of program here. The second one, indentation, right? Indentation. So what is indentation? Indentation really help you to structure the program, to show the hierarchy of the program here, right? So you think about if you have very complicated program and a lot of things going on, it's really helpful for you to show what is structured program and what is each of the module of the program here, right? That's the second thing. You use the start and stop. You use the indentation, right? So now the process in the every program, you know that for every program normally you have input. You need to get input from end user or from the file or from whatever it is, right? And now you got the input, you do the processing, right? And the processing, you do everything, the calculation and pick it out with algorithm here. The last step is output, that you print it out. What is expected output here, right? So for the program here, right? Is it program here is the take a number from the user and double it here. So it's very simple. For this one, you know that this program, you need one input, it's your number, right? And the number here, it is a variable. So I explained the variable already, right? The variable is a sum. It is a slot in the memory with the name, right? So when you get the input my number here, so what is the action? You create one slot in the memory with the name is my number. With the name is my number. So the process input here, that means you get it from end user. You get it from end user. Think about the end user go to the keyboard and he enters the number 10. So what is the action? It stores the value of number 10 into the memory slot with the name my number here. Right? That's the process. So now the second one, that is a calculation here, processing, right? So what is action here? So when you look on this one, what is action? You have to execute from the right first, from the right left, right? So what is it? The program call for my number, right? So it points to the reference into the memory slot here. It take it out the number 10 here, right? Take it out number 10 and it double it with multiply by 2. So you have 20 here. Now, when you have the 20 here, you assign this value to the variable on the left here. Right? So basically, you have one more variable in the memory, and the name of variable here is my answer here, right? My answer here. And you assign it to the number 20 here, right? So the last step here, you want to print it out you want to take it out the value you stored into the variable my answer here. So the program look into the memory slot with the name of my answer. It take it out number 20 and print it out number 20. Right? So this is very simple program. You have one input and one output, and you only have one processing also. Right? It's very simple program here. So now my question for you here. Can you help me to write the pseudocode program to get input from user for the length and the width of a rectangle, and you print it out the area. So how we do it? Now do it. I give you the activity in the class here. Okay. So you write the program in pseudocode and figure it out. You figure it out what is the area of the rectangle. That's my program here. And you write and you send it to me on the message here, right? In the chat here. So you know the process. You need to get input from user. You do the processing and you take the output here and print it out the output. Right? Here, that is the requirement of this program. And again, I go to the slide here. So you know the process, how we write the pseudocode.
Did you say you wanted us to put this in the chat?
Yes. Yeah, so when you're done is that no, not that one. Alright. I'm asking you that you write the program to figure out the area of a rectangle. So you have to understand properly. If you want to figure out the area of a rectangle, what do you need? What do you need from the input here? The dimension, right? The length and the width. Yeah, right. So please follow the concept I mentioned it in the class here. Right? I know that nowadays you can get it from anywhere from ChatGPT here, but try your best. You don't just generate it from ChatGPT and do it yourself, right? Try to do it by your own. Okay. Now we do with this one. You don't have to work with the Python right now. So you are working with the C code. Okay, so if you look on this one here, right? If you look on this program, you need one input and I figured out the answer by the double here. Right, so we can modify the program, right? You can go to the node right here, you guys draw pseudocode. Alright, so you do the same. I have the start and I have stop here, and remember it should be better you use capital here. Alright, so I can change the format here. Alright, so I change it to 20 here, so you guys can see that. Okay, now the first step you have to use indentation. So everything inside between the start and stop, you have to indent at least one level. Right, so I explain the concept of indentation. It really helpful for you to structure the program, right? To have to show the hierarchy of program here, and later on, it's really helpful when you work with Python. So you know that when you work with any real programming language, you have to use the format of indentation here, right? So basically, everything between the start and stop, you have indent to one level, right? So you know that this program here, you want to figure out the area rectangle. So in order to figure out the area of rectangle, in order to figure out the area of rectangle here, you need dimension, right? You need the length here, and you need the width. Okay, so basically for this one, that is the first step. You understand problem here, right? And you know that in order to figure out the area, you need the two dimensions, the length and the width here. So now I do the same process, right? So instead of my number here, I get input length here, right? And also you get input for width here. So I got the length and I got the width here, right? So I just store it into the variable here. So whatever it is the name of variable we, right? So I put area here, and my area it is length, and I time it with it. Okay. And the last thing I want to print it out, right? I want to print it out area. So something about the pseudocode, or even when you work with the real programming language, some of the concept I mentioned it already. The variable is the case sensitive, right? So make sure that you have to be consistent with variable name. So for somehow, if you put the capital L here, you got the syntax error when you work with real programming language, right? So make sure you have to follow the concept here. The variable name is the case consistent, and you must be consistent with variable name, right? You must be consistent with variable name.
I have a question.
What's your question?
So if we were to do, I know you said if we did like a capital L in the length, it would give us a syntax error. If we were to consistently put a capital L, like if you put on line 2 a capital L for length, and then you did a capital on line 4 for length, would that not give you a syntax error as long as you're consistent?
Yes, so here's the thing. If you change this one to the capital L here, right? So later on, you have to use the capital L here to make it consistent. You got my point? If not, you have the syntax error for this one. Now, I can show you, right? I can show you when you work with a real programming language here. Think about I have very simple programming, right? So this program, that is the program I write. I get the number from user, right? I just double the number. I just double the number, and I print it out number here. Now, this is program, right? So actually, this program I write in the Python is very simple. You get the input from user, you store it into the variable name my number, right? And you figure out the double that number and you print it out the answer here. So now you see what happened with my program. I run this program, it worked, right? So think about I enter the number 10 here, my output here number 20. But for some reason here, right? Here. You see what happened here, by some reason I make mistake here. And instead of using the capital M, I change it to the lowercase here, right? So we see, even that I have not done it yet. When you work with the when you work with the visual pseudocode here, that's one thing I like. because even before I execute it, it showed me something wrong, right? Because the thing, it showed me something wrong here because the variable here, I got it, I stored into the capital M here, but this one is a lowercase. So that is a kind of syntax error here, right? And you see, when I execute my program here, when I execute my program, and you can see what happened here, right? When I execute my program, and you can see what happened with my program. If I enter the number 10 here. And you see, yeah, you got the problem here because my number is not defined here. So the program he doesn't understand where is my number come from, because when he call for the my number here, actually you have the step to try to locate variable in the memory here, right? But the memory name here is my number in the capital. But now we call for the lowercase. That's why you have the syntax error. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. So make sure that you have to be consistent with variable name. And yeah, think about it. I show you another thing about this variable name also, right? So think about, for some reason here, think about this one here, right? You change this one to length, but you have the number 1 here. Also, you have inconsistent variable name. So make sure that you have to be always consistent with variable name, and they are case sensitive here, right? Any question? Let me know. So this is a program, right? Again, I mentioned that for any program, the first step you have to understand the problem here. So this one you need to figure out the area, and in order to figure out area, you know that you need the 2 dimensions here, the length and the width here, right? That's why you need to get input here, and you see for this program, the pseudocode here, you need the keyword start and stop. Input, it is a keyword. That's the action to tell the user enter the value here, right? That is the keyword. That is a processing here, right? So you know that anything with the processing, that means for the assignment here, you have to execute on the right first. Know that you have to execute on the right first, right? And you have to figure out the value and you assign it to the value area here. So now let me tell you about what the program, when you execute program, what happened here. To think about, you enter the number 10 for the length here. So what is it? You store it into the variable name in the memory, and the name of memory slot here, it is length. All right? And you store it in number 10. You got it, right? The second here, input width. So if the user enter number 5 here, you have another memory in the slot, and the name of memory here is the width. All right? And you store number 5 here. So when the program executes this one, what happened? He locate where is the length. He take it out number 10. Right? He locate where's the width. He take it out number 5, and you just time them together. Right? So after the step, you have the 50. Now the last step here, you have to assign everything you just figured out, and you give it to the value of variable on the left here. So when you execute program here, actually you have one more variable here. The name of variable it is area, and now you just store the number 50 in the area. That's the process. You execute program, right? And the last thing, output, that means you print it out on the screen here, right? So what is it? Output, that means again program locate to the memory with the name area, and it take it out the value, and it print it out here on the screen. It's the 50. That's the process you work with. Make sense? Okay. Now that's the first thing you work with the pseudocode. So you have the 2 options. You can work with the planning in this slide here. The first one is the pseudocode. The second one is the flowchart. And you have many tools. You have many tools to work with flowchart. But for this one, I work with the draw.io. But anyway, it's up to you, right? So in one of the assignment here for the first first week here, right? You are required to download and install draw.io. And you go to the module here, and this one, right? No, this one. So the first step here, right? You go to the draw.io.com, you click the download, and it will store it in your computer, right? Okay. So when you install it already, for this computer, I already installed it. Right? So I show you with how it works with the flowchart here. Well, here, this one. Right? So when you install it in your computer, you have application. So when you open this one, you have two options. You can create a new one from the blank, or you will have the file. You can open it here, right? So now, if I work with this one from the new one, I click create a new diagram here, right? And I work with a blank diagram. So that is the interface when you work with Draw.io, right? So think about I want to work this program here. I want to work with this program. I want to convert it into the flowchart here. Again, I also have to follow the process. I need start, I need stop, I need to get input, I need to do processing, and I need to do the output here. Okay. So now, if you work this program with Draw.io here, here's a sub concept here. The first step, you need start and stop. And remember, start and stop in the oval shape. You have to follow the standard here because when they look in the flowchart, they know what's going on here. Right? That's why you have to follow the standard here. Right? So when you want to start and stop, remember you have to use the oval here and you put it here, start it. Right? Start it here. Now, the second thing here, right? You need to get input from user. So remember, anything with the input and output, you have to use a parallelogram here, right? You have to use the shape here, parallelogram. So for this one, I need to get input and I store into my number, right? That's why I use a keyword input here and I store into the variable name my number. Okay. And of course, I have to use the arrow here to connect them together. Right? I start from my program. I go to the input. I get input from user. Right? And now, for this program, you see, this program here, I only need one input. Right? I only need one input here. And now I do the processing. So when you work with Draw.io here, the processing, you have to work with the rectangle. The only way you have to follow standard here, right? So when later on when you use for the flowchart, you have to follow the standard here. So for this one, anything with the processing, you have to work the rectangle here. Right? So what the rectangle? You need to double the number and you assign that value to the variable my answer here, right? So my answer here, I write on the left, and I want to assign it to the value of my number. My number time 2. That's all. That is the process of processing, right? That's the process of processing assignment here. Again, I need to connect them together. I connect them together. I put this one here. Now I get input. I do the processing here. The next step, I just want to print it out, right? I want to print it out, and if I want to print it out, you again print it out. You have to do parallelogram here, right? You click the link here, and we do the output. Output here, right? The output here, if you just want to print it out, my answer here. Okay, and that's all. I done with my program. I need stop here, right? I need to stop here. So I put with the stop, and again, I need to connect them together, right, by the arrow here. Yeah, of course, if you want to do it better, you can modify it here, you can adjust it here, but I'm not really good at drawing. So I'm not really the one who work detail. But anyway, the logic is that one, right? Yes, remember when you work with the flowchart, start and stop, you work with the oval shape. Right? Input and output, you work with the parallelogram. And anything with assignment processing, you work with the rectangle. Make sense? Okay. Any question? So that's the program, right? And If you want to do with the rectangle also, you can do with the same process, right? But instead of one input here, you need two input, right? So I can modify my program here. I need one more input, right? So I click on this one. I just put control it and I drop it here. Right? So for this one, I can input here, but this one I input length. Right? Length. And also, when you work with the flowchart here, you have option, right? You can change for the color. You can change the font size here. I think about it too small for me, so I can change it to the 16 here, and so on, right? And for this one, I need to input another input, right? This one is width here. Okay. Now I have area, right? I put it is a length times width here. Okay. And now I have to put it out. I have to put it out area here. Because I need to connect them together, right? So the process, you figure out the rectangle area here, right? You need two input length, input width. Now you do the processing, you figure out area by the length times width, and you print out the area. Okay. Again, I expect that you have to follow open standard here. Anything with start and stop, you will use the oval shape. Anything with input and output, you use a parallelogram, and everything with the processing and assignment, you use a rectangle. Okay. And later on also, when you learn about the structure, you have more thing to do with the rectangle, right? Sorry, with the flowchart here. Think about you have the making decision. Sometimes that you want to check the decision here. You have the whenever you want to work with the decision, you have to work with the diamond shape. Think about if I want to check it here. If I want to check if you are older than 18 or not, right? So I have to check the age here, greater than or equal 18. I put the question mark. So anything with decision, you work with the diamond here. And if you work the loop here, you have the condition to check. And if true, you have to go back. Right? So some of you, I know that some of you make mistake from my previous class here. Right? Remember when you work the loop here, loop, what is loop? Loop, that means you have to come back. Right? That's why the arrow here. That's why you have the arrow here. If check the condition, if true, you have to come back to do it. True, you have to come back to do it. True, you have to come back to do it. Until it's not true, that means you exit the loop. But anyway, right now we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so I believe that I just show you that how to work with the pseudocode with a simple program, right? And how to work with the flowchart here with a very simple program here. Now I look back to the program we just do it here, right? If you look on the program we just do it here. Program here, you got the number and double it. Right? Input the number here, double it with the processing, and output here. Input the number, double it, and processing. Sorry, output here. This one in pseudocode, this one in flowchart. Right? And I convert this one into Python. I convert this one to Python. And now right now you don't have to write it in the Python. I just explain the concept here. Right? You don't have to write it in the Python. But anyway, if you want to execute program here, if you want to execute this program, you can go to you can download this one. You can save it somewhere. Can you save it? I think option to save it. Now think about this one here. I have the program here. I change it back. Sorry, I change it to the one. Okay, so I convert this one in program and I execute it in the Python here, and you can see what happened. So suppose that this one here, this one is interface to the end user. Now, this one is interface to end user. So basically, when you execute program from the end user point of view, you have no idea what's going on with the code here. Right? You know that you have no idea about it. Now that is the interface with end user. And you see, I have no idea what's going on with my program. Right? I don't know what is it going on here. Do I need to enter 8 or B, or I need to enter the exclamation or whatever. That's because this program, you do not have the prompt here. So what is a prompt? Prompt is something show up in the screen to tell user what is they are supposed to do. Right? So again, come back to my program here. Come back to my program here. You look into my program here. I have the process to get input from user, but I don't have the process to tell user what to do here. I have process to store into variable here, but for the better program here, you should include here header command to tell you at least to explain what is the purpose of the program. Right? The second one here, you have to use a meaningful prompt. So what's the prompt? You have to clearly instruct user on what action to take it. Right? And the third one here, the output also, you have to display the informative information and relevant text in the output. Now I explain it one by one. One by one. Right? So I come back to my program here. Where am I? Right here. I just copy my program. I just copy my pseudocode program here. This one, right? It's very simple program. So I put it here again. I change everything with indentation. Indentation here. Change it to the capital here to make it more clear. Alright, so now the first step. I want to introduce the concept of the comment. So what's the comment? Comment is something that help you as a software developer, help you to understand what is going on with your programming. Right? So in the pseudocode here, in the format of the comment, you have to put the double slash here. Double slash. Right? And this one is a header command to tell you this program. Right? This program. Get input from user, double it, and bring up the double. So the command here, what is it? It really helpful for you as a programmer. The thing about this, it's very simple program, so you do not see much benefit, right? But you see that if you have very long program, a lot of things going on here, it's really helpful when you use the command. You can use the header command to tell you what is the purpose of the program, or you can use the inline command here. Right? Inline command that means you tell the user step by step here, right? Get input from user and start into variable name my number. Okay, so this one is a header command and this one is inline command. It's really helpful if you have a lot of things going on with the program. Right? It's really helpful. But remember this one, it has no benefit from the computer point of view. Because when you execute program, later on I show it with the Python here. When you execute program here, program will automatically skip this one. Ignore everything. Ignore everything with the command. Have no benefit with the computer point of view. Right? Have no benefit with the end user point of view. But you are the programmer. You are the writing the code, it's really helpful. Right? So the thing about this one here. Again, you do not have to follow me with the Python here, but I just show you how you work with what is the benefit when you work with the Python. Think about it, the Python, right? I want to write some of the command here. I just copy it here. I don't want to type. I'm very bad at typing. Right? So I copy it here, and you see when I paste it here, I delete this one. So this is process. This is the process I put the command in the Python here. Right? I use a hashtag here. So from the computer point of view here, when I execute program, have no benefit. Have no benefit with my program. Yeah, when I execute it, you can see it ignore everything because when we see the hashtag here, it ignore it. It do not execute it here, right? So the first step you can see here. When I run my program again, and I put the number 10 here, and I print it out 20. It's the same. It's the same even that I have the command or not. It's the same. See, from the computer point of view, right, or from end user point of view, it is the same. No benefit at all. But it really helpful for the user, also for the programmer. Okay. So now that is the first step, right? That is the first step here. I want you to work with the header command, at least header command, right? You don't have to put the delay command here, but header command to tell you what is the purpose of the program. Right? The second thing here, you see, is the second thing in my program here. I run it again. You can see in my interface here, is the interface here. I don't know what's going on. So should be better I use the prompt here. Prompt is something to show up in the screen to tell user what to do here. Right? So basically in the pseudocode here, if you want to print it as a prompt, you have to use the syntax output here. Right? You have to use the syntax output here. Right? And you have to tell user, please enter a number. Okay, so that's the process. When you do this one here, right? When you do this process here, what happened? You have the prompt. You have the prompt to show up in the screen here, right? To tell user, please enter the number. And after that, user know he have to do here, right? So think about this one. You have the prompt here show up in the screen, right? To tell user, please enter the number. And if the user enters the number 20, it's stored into the variable name, my number here. And stored into 20 in the memory name, my number, right? So again, I strongly recommend you use the prompt here. It's really helpful for the end user to know what they are supposed to do here, right? So if you want to get the prompt here, you put the output here. Please enter a number, right? So I can do the same with my program here in the Python. I modify my program in the Python here. Now I put some prompt here. Please enter a number. Okay. And you can see what happened with my program here. It way better, right? Now I run it again. You can see. Now, see, right now, it tells user what to do, right? So from the user point of view, really helpful for the user point of view here, right? So now he knows that he has to enter the number, right? He knows that he has to enter the number, and he entered number 10 and print out number 20. Okay, so that's the second thing. The first thing I recommend you put the header command. The second thing, for every input, you have to use the prompt to tell what is the do, right? The third thing also, I strongly recommend you here, right? This one here. You see the output here, it is a number, but it's not really helpful for the user point of view here, right? So it should be better. I modify my output also, right? I modify my output here. I include some of the meaningful text here, right? The number after double please, right? Yes, this one. So remember what action I had to do is what action I just do it here. Actually, I just include some of the meaningful text in the output only. So remember, in any programming language, if you put everything inside the quote or the quote mark here, it literally is the text. What you put it here, it prints out exactly what you input it here, right? So now you see, if I do the same in my Python here. I do the same in my Python here. I include some of meaningful. I just copy it again. I copy it here again, and I copy it and I paste it in the output in the Python here. So you can see what happened here. It way better, right? It way better. Yeah. So you see. Now I run it here. Right? First step, I have the form here. Number 10, and the second one. You see the output here. It tells me the number after double is the best. Right? So from the end user point of view, it's really helpful. Right? But remember, whatever you put inside the quote mark here, it literally is the text, the string format. It prints out exactly, right? So you have to know the difference between the two of them here. Sorry. Here. This one is literally the text. This one is a variable. Right? Variable changeable. It depends. It depends on the value you stored into the memory slot here. But this one exactly is the same. Whatever you enter. Right? Think about I change it here. Think about I change it. Right? I change it to haha here. Yeah, I mixed it up here, right? So see, what happened here? I enter the number 10, and the output here exactly the same what I input, right? So you have to know the difference between the literal text and the value of the variable here, right? This one, and this one changeable because they are variable, right? So now the last time I enter number 10, right? But the next time here, if I run it again, this time I don't want to the 10 here, but this time I enter number 15 here. So now it printed out number 30. It printed out number 30 here because they are variable, they are changeable. But this one always stays the same, right? Everything inside the quote mark here always stays the same. Understand? Okay. So back then, come back to my pseudocode here also. Come back to my pseudocode here. This one here, literally the text. But this one and this one, they are variable and they are changeable. Make sense? Okay. Any question, guys? Any question? No? Yeah, so I expect you for at least from now on, right? When you work with the pseudocode or when you work with the flowchart also, right? You include some of the header command, some meaningful prompt, and some meaningful output for your program, right? So come back with my program here. Think about this one, right? I modify this one, so think about I want to make some of the command here. I can put the text here in my program, right? I can put here this program, figure it out the area of rectangle. Right? You can think about this one as the same with the header command. I tell you. Right? So for this one also, every time I got the input from user, I use the output here for the prompt, right? Output here. Right? And the length. Sorry. Yeah. So you can modify it, but you can drag it here to make it. Yeah. And also you can modify by the format here. You can put everything in line and so on. It's up to you, right? But again, from now on, when you work with the pseudocode or flowchart, I expect you to include the header command, right? To tell the user what is the purpose of the program. Every time you get input from user, you use the prompt. And for the output also, right? For the output also, I expect you to put some of the meaningful text for the output here, right? So think about the area is yeah, way better for the area. Yeah, so everything is in the slide here. I got it in the slide, right? So you see, this one is a header command. In the pseudocode, you use a double slash here, right? This is a prompt to tell user what they are supposed to do, and I include some of meaningful output here in the output here, right? Okay. This one we read it only. Now, so all of them here so far you do it with a very simple program. Right? You work with a very simple program here. User got input from the user, you double it or the. Sometimes you have to make a decision with your program. I think about the program here asking you that you have to write the program, right? To ask user enter his age, and you have to determine that if he is eligible to vote or not. And whenever he is older or greater than or equal 18, he is eligible to vote, right? So what happened with this program here? You see what happened with this program? I had to make a decision. I had to make a decision here, right? I had to make a decision. So in the pseudocode or in any program or with the flowchart here, the decision here, you work with if here. You work with if, right? And later on I explain the concept of loop later. Right? So see the process here. I get input from user, right? This is a prompt, you know that this is prompt, right? And it's stored into the variable name h here. Now I check the connection here. If age is greater than or equal 18, then I print it out. Congratulations, you are eligible to vote. Else, that means not greater than or equal 18. That means less than 18, right? You are not eligible to vote. Okay, that is a concept of the decision making here. Making decision here, right? Making decision here. Now think about this one. I have the program here, right? You know that's the purpose of this program here. And if in the case if you work with the flowchart here, so I show you how to work with flowchart or this program, right? So basically, I just modify this program. I modify my program. You work with flowchart here, right? Enter your age, right? And I start into the variable name age. Okay, so now after that, what I have to do here, I have to make decision. Right? I have to make decision. So remember that in the case you work a decision here, in the case you work decision in the flowchart, you have to use a diamond shape. Remember that you have to use a diamond shape, right? You have to use a diamond shape here. So guys, please turn on camera, otherwise I do not accept your presence in the class here. And later on, I have the in-class activity. I do not guarantee you if you turn off your camera. Okay, so you have the decision here. Right? You have the decision here to check it. Right? So think about I got h here and I check if h greater than or equal 18 or not. Right? I put a question mark. So that is the case of the decision, right? Or the selection here. You know that you have the two possibilities here. Either true or false, right? True that means you greater than or equal 18, or false is that means you less than or equal. You less than 18 here, right? So basically, when you work in decision here, right? When you work in decision here, you have the diagram here, right? You have the put it here, put it in the case, right? This one I want to put it yes here. I want to put it yes here, and I make decision later. Sorry. Yeah, I make the decision later. Right? So what happened with this one? I just bring it out, right? This one I just bring it out here. You are eligible to vote. Right? I put. Okay. And of course, no, right? If you know here, I just copy it and paste it here. You are not, right? You are not eligible to vote here. And of course, I need a arrow here. It's arrow here. Here. I put this one in no here. And of course, both of them, I go to the end program, right? So I just connect them together. I put it here, connect them together, and I put this. Copy it, I put it here. Draw a diagram. Yeah, I don't want to make it perfect, but anyway, that's the logic, right? So I expect that when you look on this program in the flowchart here, you know that is making decision. Making decisions, that means you break it down in the branches, right? Yes, you do something. No, you do the other thing. Only one branch execute. Right? Is greater than or equal or less than. Right? And also you go to the stop. Okay. So I want you to know the concept, the logic here. Right? If you want to make decision, if you want to check decision here, you have to use a diamond here. In the case you work with the flowchart, right? You have to work with the diamond here. Okay. Now, so we learn about some very basic concept with the pseudocode and flowchart already, right? Every program you have start and stop, right? You need to get input, you do the processing and assignment, you use the output, you learn about the process using the header command, about the prompt, about the meaningful text output here, right? Also, you know the concept how to use in the flowchart, what you want to do with the start and stop, what you want to do with the input, what you want to do with the processing, and what you want to do with the making decision here. You have to follow the format of this one, right? So I think you guys can take a short break for 5 minutes and we come back. Okay, so again, turn on your camera. We go on with our lecture. So we know that somehow we have the process of the making decision, right? But somehow we want to do with the action of repetition also. I think about in my program here, right? You think about in my program here. Yeah. Look on this one here, right? So when I execute program, I enter a number, right? I enter a number and I just time it number 2 and I print out the number here. So when I execute program, it only execute one time only, right? So think about if I enter the number 10 here, right? If I enter number 10 here and I got the output here number 10 here. But if I want to do it for multiple times here, right? I enter the number 10 or number 20 or number 5 or number what is it? In that case, what action I have to do? What do you think? I can modify my program here, right? I can modify my program here. Think about this one, right? This here, everything here execute for one time. Right? So I can copy it the same, right? I can do it the same. I can copy it here and then paste it here. It execute it for 2 times or 3 times, right? And 4 times, right? You can do it, right? So see for this one also, I do it for 4 times, and I can show you with my Python also, right? I can do it here, right? I do it 1 time, I do it 2 and 3 here, right? So now when I execute it, instead of 1 time here, I do it for 3 number, right? So now the first number, right? The second number and the third number. I can do it, of course I can do it. But what happens if I want to do it 100 or 1,000 times? You have to copy it again and again and again, right? So basically, in the programming, the process, if you do it again and again and again, it's a repetition. So whenever you do the repetition, you have to think about the loop. You have to think about the loop. So what is the loop? Basically, the concept of the loop, that means you always have the condition here to check. Right? You have the condition here to check. And if the condition here is true, that means, remember that the loop, that means you have to come back here and to do it again and again and again until the condition here is a false. That's the process. That's the process of the loop, right? So now, when come back to my problem here, right? Come back to my problem here. If I want to do it for multiple time here, I have to work with the loop, right? So basically, you have the 2 types of loop. You have the 2 types of loop. The first one, it is a where is it? I think it should be better. I have it here. No. Okay. Anyway. Right. So basically, when you work in the loop, right? When is the loop here? You create a loop here. That means what is the loop? Loop is a repetition of series of the step here, right? You do it again and again here. But one of the thing when you work the loop here, you try to avoid infinite loop here. That means you do it forever. You do it forever. But sometimes think about you don't tell how to stop the loop here. I think about you never ever meet the condition to exit the loop. That means you do it again forever. You do it again forever, right? So think about this one here. I just show you how this one. Right? Yeah, think about it. My program. You don't have to write it in the Python, but anyway, I just to show you what is a indefinite loop here. Right? So we see what happened with my program. So I enter a number, right? Enter number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6 here, and it go on forever. Right? It go on forever here because the condition here is always true here. That is that indefinite loop because it go on forever here. Right? It go on forever. It go on forever. Or I can do It go on forever. So basically for the loop, you always have the condition to check the loop, right? And if the condition is true, you keep doing it. And if the condition is not true, you exit the loop here. So basically to do the loop, you have to tie the loop. Basically to do the loop, you have to tie the loop. The first one is a loop with specified number of iteration. Iteration, that means each time you do it one time, it's a one iteration, right? So think about, I tell you that I want to print it out. I want to, what is it? I want to print it out. Sorry, I want to get the number, and I double the number. I print it out the double number for 5 times. So what is it? That is specific number iteration, right? Because for sure I want to run it 5 times already, right? So this is normally when you work with number specific number of iteration here, you work with the counter. You work with the counter. You count it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and you stop it. Right? So basically, when you work the counter here, you have to initialize the counter first. Counter here is number 1. Right? And now you go to the loop, you check the condition here. If the counter is less than 5, you just do it. Right? And inside the body of the loop here, you have to remember that you have the action to increase the counter here. Otherwise, you have infinite loops. Except now I can show you this one here, right? Think about, anyway, I have this one. I have this one with Python. Okay, so now for this one also, I want to do it 5 times, right? So we can see what happened here. And I think it should be better. I use a break here so we can see what happened with the program. Right, so I run it step by step here. Right, so see, when I do it here at the beginning, I have the counter number 1. I put number 1. Right, so I put the number 1. I go on. I bring it down number 2, and you see now my counter number 1. Right, so now when I do this one, I increase the counter by 2. Right, so now I have a counter by 2, right? And I go back to the loop here, and I come back to the loop. You see, I come back into the loop here. I check it again. Right. The counter here is number 2. That means true, right? That means true. I keep doing it. I just mean true here. I keep doing it here. So now I do it for the second time. I have number 2 here, and I enter this one. I do it again. I do it again. Number 4. I come back to the loop. Now the counter number 3. True, right? Counter number 2. 3 true. So I do it again. Now I have number 3 here. I enter this. It's still true here, right? So now I have number 4 here. Less than or equal. Correct, right? Correct. So that's why I do it again. I have number 4 here. And this one, I have number 8 here. Right? Now we see this one, counter number 5. Less than or equal 5. Still true, right? That's why I enter the number 5 here. Alright. I number 5 here. I have number 10. Right? So we see what happened here. I stop the loop. Done. Right? You do it for done. So that is an example of the specific iteration, number of iteration. I know for sure I do it for 5 times. So normally when you do the loop with a specific number of iteration, you use a counter here. You count for how many times you do it. Right? Right now you don't have to write in the Python here, but I know I want to show you the logic. It works here. But for some reason here, you see for some reason here. For some reason, this step here, you can see what happens. It keeps doing it forever. It keeps doing it forever. The reason it keeps doing it forever, sorry, I have to stop the break here. Right. Sorry. Now I run it again. Alright, so I have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, and so on. So on. It goes forever. Right? And the reason it goes on forever because you know why? You know why it goes on forever? Because the condition here only true. Make sense? Now, let me tell you. I starting the counter here. I starting the counter number 1. I check the condition here if counter less than 5 or not. 1 less than 5. Right? So see, I do it again and again and again and again and again. The counter never ever change. It always stays at number 1. That's why the condition here is always true. That means you keep doing it forever. That is the one thing indefinite loop. Right? Okay, but for now I just want to show you the logic of this one. You don't have to write it in the Python right now. Or okay, so I want to show you, right? Basically, what I want to show you is that you understand the concept when you work with the pseudocode or flowchart here. Right? So I see, I initialize the counter here, I check the condition here, right? But I only have to change the value of the counter here. If not, it's always stay the same with 1 and always true here. Right? And now if you look in the flowchart here, I do the same, right? I initialize the counter number 1 here. That is the condition of the loop. Right? I check here if counter less than 5. If yes, I just do it here. I increase the counter by 1. Right? Now remember, if you look in the flowchart here, you only have action to come back, and check the condition again. For each of iteration, when you done it, you only have to come back to check it again. Right? You check it again. True, do it again. True, do it again. Yes, do it again. Yes, do it again. No, you exit the loop. Right? Because I want to show you here, because when you work with the flowchart or when you work with the pseudocode, some of you make mistake here. You make mistake here. Instead of come back here, you jump to the other thing. So remember, the loop, that means you have to come back to check it. You have to come back to check it. Right? Okay. So basically, when you work with a loop with a specified number of iterations, the first step, you have to initialize the counter before you enter the loop. Right? That's why you see. That's why I have to initialize the counter here, and that is a loop. I have to initialize before the loop. Before the loop, right? Before the loop here. I work before the loop here. Right? Okay. And now I test the condition. Right? I test the condition, and instead I have to change the value here. Otherwise, it is indefinite. So that is the first type of the loop. The second type of the loop, it is unspecified number of iteration. With unspecified number of iteration, that means the user is the one who determines how to stop the loop. Right? See, in this program here, you know for sure whatever it is, you only execute for 5 times. Right? You only execute for 5 times. But if you come back to this one here, I want to do this one, right? I allow user enter the number until he enters number 0. So he is the one who determines how to stop the loop here, right? He keep doing it until he enters number 0. So the condition is the same, right? I get the number here. I start in the number here, and every time I check the number, right? If not equal 0, I double it, and again I get the new number here. Right? So when I get the new number again, I check it again. It is 0 or not, and I keep doing it until he enters the number 0. Okay, so the same with the process when I run with the Python here. When I run the same process when I run with the Python here, you see. Yes, this one, right? So when I run my program here, you can see here, right? I enter number 1, number 2, number 3, and so on here. I can keep doing it here, but I am the one who determines if I want to stop it or not. And now if I want to stop, I put 0 here. And you see, if I put 0 here, it come back to check it here. Number here is not equal to 0. That is 4, right? That's why I stop. That's why I stop the loop here. That's why you see the stop here. Make sense? Okay. So anyway, you don't have to work with the loop or anything right now, but I expect that when you look into the pseudocode or flowchart here, you know the process, right? Whenever you do the loop, that means you have to come back to check it. Okay. Now I think the last thing I want to introduce to you about a little bit about Python for this class. Yeah, no, not pseudocode. So in this class, right? In this class, it requires you to do some of the activity with the Python. So I believe that I mentioned it in the manually, right? So you have something to do with this one here. The first step, you can run it with the Python online here. Right? So when you click on this one, you have the interface. You run it online. But I do not recommend it, this one. If you really want to work with a programming language, skip this option. It's not really help because it not give you a lot of support with the debugging and so on. Right? I do not recommend it to do that one. The second option here, right? You download the Python here. Right? So when you click on the link here, you have the option to download it. Right? It can be the Windows or Linux or Mac here. It's up to you. Right? So basically, when you download it, you run with the idle here. That is the idle. Right? That is the interface. That is the interface when you run with the Python. Okay. That is the interface. So again, I mentioned that when you work with the Python interface, you have two options. You have two options here. The first one, you work with the interactive mode. You work the interactive mode, right? Interactive mode is really helpful if you want to tap for the shortcode, it is correct or not, and so on. It's really helpful for the shortcode only or some very basic automation. Right? So think about is the interactive mode here. Right? Think about I want to put x equal to number 2 here. Right? I want to double x. I have x times 2 here, and I want to check what is new. Sorry. This like here, inconsistent variable, right? And I want to check, what is the double of this one? It instantly gives me the output here. It really helpful in the case of the shortcode or interactive mode here. But normally in this class here, you are required to work with the script mode here. And what is the script mode? Script mode, that means you have to write the whole program and you execute it later, not one by one line, right? Not one by one line here. So in order to write the script mode here, you click on file here. You click the file here. You open the new file, and from here you write the program. Right? From here you write the program. I think about I want to print it out. Right? In the Python, the concept here, if you want to print it out, use the keyword print here. Right? Welcome to add that 120. Yeah, that was so on. If you want to use the other thing here, you can print it. So think about I have the program, I write the program here, right? If I want to run it, the first step I have to save it here, right? Or you can click the run here. Right? You see, when you click the run here, you have option to run it, right? I know. The first step it will require you to save it. So I save it into my desktop here, right? In the desktop here, I put it to test. Okay, so that is my program here, right? So remember that again, if I want to open my program, again, I open my program here. I store into the desktop. By my desktop, I store the name test here. I open it. That is my program. Right? And again, if I want to execute it, I click the run here. I run module and I run it here. Right? So basically, in this class, normally all assignment with the Python require you work with the script mode. So make sure that you have to write the whole program and execute it later. That is the way you run directly on the Python environment here. But for me, I prefer to work with the Visual Studio Code here. It's really helpful in the case you work with the debugging and so on. Right? So in order to install for the Visual Studio Code here, I have the slide here, right? You can download this one here. You click it here, and you have option to download it for the window here. Right? You have the option and you download here, and you just click the file and it automatically download. Right? And remember one thing I mentioned it already. Right? So when you install the Visual Studio Code here, it's a platform. Basically, you can run on any program with this one. It's a platform here, right? You can install Python or C or C++ with this one here. For me, for this class, right? If you want to install the Python here, you click on the view. You go to the extension here, right? So in the extension, you put Python here. Right? This is the Python, and you see you have the option to install the Python here, right? So we click on this one. For me, I already installed, but if your computer have not installed it, you have to install it here. Right? So when you install it, you can run it. You can write the program with the Visual Studio Code here. You click the file, right? You click the you can click the new text file. Sorry. Okay, so now if you want to write the new file, you can use the text file here, right? And you have the option to choose the language here. Let's see. You have a lot of options to do this one, right? But for this one, you go over to the Python here. You go over to the where is the Python? Here, right? You can go over the Python, or you can work with this one of the new file here, and you automatically have the Python file. Right? So you click the option, the Python file, and now you write the program. Right? Think about again. I put it here. Okay, copy. Right? I do with the Python here. I put it here. So now again, if I want to execute, I click on this one here. Right? This one, I like this one because it run and debug also at the same time, right? It tell me what goes wrong here. So I click on this one here. Of course, I have to save it. It requires me to save it here. And again, I save it in the same name. The text here, I save it here. Okay. So when I execute it, or you can click the option here. This one is run, right? This one run. Right? So see, it brings it down here. Right? Welcome to SDEV120. It is fun. Also, right? And one of the thing in the Visual Code here, I really like it because it gives me the option to break it down the code, so I can see what's going on. Right? Let me give you the example here. Let me here, right? If I want to chase down here, right, to see what's going on with the counter here, I can click on the while loop here, right? So we see what happened here when I run my program, right? When I run my program here. Sorry. Every time I think I have to save it somewhere. Somewhere. I have to save it. So okay. Yes, this one. So I basically I have to save it. I have to save it to desktop. I save it to patchy. Okay. So one thing about the Visual Code here, I really like it because it gives me the option to work with the break. Yeah. So the break is really helpful for me to chase what's going on with my program. So see what it changed with my variable here, right? So see what happened here when I run it. Save it or not? Fine. Oh, sorry. Oh, anyway. Let me know it again. Open it again. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it enter here, right? So now think about this one. I stop it here. So you see for the why because this one, so I think that's very weird for me. Anyway, I can show you later something going wrong with this one. The interpret here. It not give me the option to break it here. Okay. And if you want to do it in the Visual Code here, that's the one I recommend you to do with the Python. You download the Visual Code here, and you have to install extension for the Python. And if you need more information, you can watch a video here. You can watch the YouTube. This one here to show you how to run with Visual Code here. Now, something I want to introduce you to the Python here. The first I think you know that the process if you want to do with print it out here, right? If you want to do print it out here, use the option. Use the built-in function here, right? Next this one. No, not this one. Okay. Now the first thing I want to introduce you when work the Python is that the print function here. The print function actually is print it out, right? Print it out here. So everything you put it in print function, you print it out here, right? So think about this one. When I execute program here, right? When I execute program here, you can see what happened with my program. Just print it out. What I literally enter in the text here, right? Because everything you put it inside the quote mark, it is a literally the text, and print it out exactly the same, right? Okay, but if somehow I modify my program here, right? I modify my program here. I give the assignment here, right? I have the name, so I put it ejected. So welcome to SDEV120, and I put name here. I put the name here. So when I run it, when I run the program here, what is it? Sorry, name, not that. Yeah, I make mistake here. What do you think? What is my mistake? Because the name here is string format, right? In string format. And if you want to get the name in string format here, I have to put it inside the quote mark here. That is string format. Otherwise, you know what happened. Otherwise, you know what happened here. You understand that Jack here is a variable. Right? But you see, I have not defined Jack yet. I have not assigned anything to Jack yet. That's why I got the syntax error here, right? So basically for this one here, you have to put this one here. This is string format here. And now what happened here? It print it out, welcome to SDEV120. It looked it out for the name. Name I assigned the value Jack here, right? That's why I run it. Here. I have welcome to SDEV120 Jack here, right? Or I can make modification here. I put it here. It looks a little bit better, right? Yeah, this one, right? So now you know that's the process. That is a process when you work the Python. If you want to print it out something, if you want to print it out something, right? You use the print function. Use the print function. And the process here, it is assignment, right? You know that this is assignment here, right? Or I can change here, right? I can change name. I can modify my program a little bit here, right? I have another variable here, right? Equal to the 10, right? And I print here. Your number is actually. Okay. So you see my program here, right? Welcome to SDEV120 Jack, and your number is 10. Right? So basically for this one here, for this program, you know the process using the print function, and you know the process of assignment here. You assign the value to the variable, number variable here, right? You assign the value that string format to the name here, right? Okay. Now this program here, you see this program here, always run. Now let me run it here, right? Run again, right? This program here always gives the same output here. Every time it's a jack and every time number tag here. So if I want to give the option for the end user to get input here, right? Instead of jack, he can enter the David or some whatever is the name here, right? So in that case, what is it? I need to get input from user. I need to get input from user, right? So in the Python, if you want to get input from user, you use the concept here. You use the syntax here. You put the variable name on the left, variable name on the left, right? And you use the input here is a keyword. You input here is a keyword, and this is a prompt here to tell user please enter the name here. Right? So now I can modify my number. Sorry, I can modify my program here. Can modify my program. Yeah, now I'm gonna modify it. Yeah, now so instead of just I want to hit his option to get the name from end user. Right? So I put the name here. Right? I put the name. Now remember, if I want to get input from user, I put the variable on the left, right? Variable here is on the left, and I use the input keyword here, right? And this is a prompt, right? This is a prompt. I tell you the prompt. It's really helpful to tell user what's going on here, right? What they are supposed to do here. So now, please enter your number. Sorry, your name. Right? So I put it. Right? So we see the process here actually is the same, right? The same with what I action here. So basically, when you execute program, please enter your name, and if you enter David here, David. So what is it? It stored David into the variable with the name here. Right? And later on, if you want to print it out, welcome to SDEV120, and you take it out name. What's the name? It represents to the slot name here, and they take it out David. Right? So now I run my program. Right? Run my program. You can see here. Right? So now I run it. Now I put David here, right? David here. Sorry. Oh, because the number here, why I it's stuck here, right? Sorry. Because I don't get the number yet, right? So I put X here, number 10. So it's should be better. I think. Okay. Now I run it again, right? I have David here. Yeah, that's what I have welcome to adapt David here. Right? That's what I get it from user. That's the variable name, right? Or I can run it again. Here. This time I put the name John here. And welcome to SDEV120 John. Because that is a variable. Right? That is a variable. Now, the process here, I show you the process. If I want to modify my program a little bit here, I can show you. Think about this one here, right? I have number. Again, I want to get the number from user, right? My number should be better. My number here. So I put input here, right? And enter. Sorry, enter your number. Put it here. Okay. And now, what happens if I want to print it out my number? You do the same, right? You do the same process. Sorry, you do the same process here. Print your number is what I put it here. What do you think? What I put it here? Yeah, I want to print it out the value I stored from my number here, right? I want to store I want to print it out the value I stored in my number here. So we can see what happened here. This time David again, and number 15, and print it out. Right? Welcome to SDEV120, and your number is a 15. But you have problem with this one here. If I want to think about this one here, I modify my program. Right? So I have my number, and now I want to add my number to 10. Right? So I want to change the value of my number. I want to add it to 10. What action I have to do? What do you think? What I put it here? I want to change the value of my number and increase and add it with the number 10.
Output equals my number is 10.
Assignment, right?
Yeah, like so my number is equal to my number plus
Yes,
10.
That is the process, right? So you want to do it here. You want to increase my number by 10 here, right? So yeah, that's the process. You want, right? So think about this one here. Alright. I get my number here from user, right? And the name of the slot here is my number. My number. Alright. And if I enter number 15, it store number 15 here. Right? So what is it? The action here, you know that it only execute from the right first. Right? So what is it? It take it out the number here, it point to the slot, it take it out number 15, it add the number 10, at the number 10 here, you got the 25. So what's it? After you got the 25, you do the assignment here. Right? You do the assignment, that means you give the number 25 to my number and you override this one. That's the computer execute. Right? Okay, so now you can see what's wrong with my program here. What's wrong with my program here? And I can show you what's wrong with my program. John here. Now see, I got the syntax error. I got the syntax error because you can only concatenate string, not integer for microstring. Now let me explain the concept here. Let me explain the concept when you get the input here. So basically, you know that whenever you want to get input from user, you use the input function. But remember, whatever it is, whenever even that you enter the string format or number here, it always returns the output of input function here is always in string format. So even that you look here, even that when I enter number 15 here, but it is actually it's stored into the the slot my number here. 15 in string format. Because by default, everything you got from input here is always in string format. And let me show you, it should be better. I show you in the case I work with interactive mode here. I have to think about number here. Number I got the input from user input here, and the number. So I put number 10 here. Now I want to print number. Sorry, a number, not this one, number. You see, it inside the quote mark here because it by the default it is string format, right? So we know that if you have string format here, you cannot do with the number 15 here because this one is a number format and this one is string format. You got my point? You cannot do it. You cannot do it, right? So remember one thing here. Whatever you got it from input, it already return in string format. And if you want to do processing with the number format, you have to convert it. It's okay. You have to convert, but anyway, I will have the in-class activity later, right? So whatever you got it from input, always string format. So if you want to do anything with the number calculation, addition or multiplication or division or whatever it is, you have to convert it into the number format. You have to convert in number format. So basically in the Python, here, is basically in the Python, you have the two functions to convert it in from the string format to the number format. The first one is the int function here. That means you convert into the integer format. What is the integer number? It is a whole number, right? You have 1, 2, 3, or -1, or -2. The second one, it is a float function here. Float function, that means you convert it into the floating point number. Right? Think about we have 7.52 or whatever. Right? So come back to my problem here. Come back to my problem. You see, come back to my problem here right now, right? Right now, I know that when I run it, I got the syntax error. When I run it, I got the syntax error because when I put a number 15 here, actually 15 here, it's a string format. That's why I cannot add the number 10 here. Right? So to correct it,
I have two options here. The first one, right? I have to correct it. I have this one here, right? This one here in the string format. I can convert it here. Number equal to int here. Sorry, int. Int here is an integer function. You convert number from the string format to integer number, right? So I put it here. I put number here. And after that, it worked. It worked because right now it converted into the number format, and I can add it to number 10 here. It's okay, right? Or I can run it in my I can run it with interactive mode here, right? So you can see what happens. Now see. Sorry. What is it? Sorry, number. Yeah, right. I have number here, and I print number. I print down number here. So see, right now it's string format, right? In string format, I have no way to add it to number 10 here, but I can convert it, right? So I put number here. I can put it number. I change it by the convert it to the integer. I put number here. So automatically change it to the number format, right? And later on, I print it down number. So see, back then, right? Back then, this one here, string format, right? But after I convert it into the integer here, after converting into integer here, now it is a number format. Make sense? And now, of course, I can do anything with the calculation, with the mathematics calculation. Make sense? Now, so see, come back to my program. Come back to my program. Right? Come back to my program. I changed it already. Where? Right? I changed it already. So I convert it already now. So we see what happened here. I run it. It worked perfectly, right? John. And I put the number 57 here. I have converted or not? I think I converted already there. Oh, sorry, because I did not yeah, my mistake. Yeah. So, yeah, David. 46. And now it works, right? Because I only convert it. Or you can use a combination, right? You can use a combination. You don't have to you don't have to do the action here, right? You just put everything here inside the parenthesis here. And now you put the int before that. Int before that. Now it works, right? The same. It's the same. The process the same, right? The same process is the same. So here, now it works. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is that remember that you have two options, right? You can convert it to int or you can convert it float here, but you see what happens here. If int is here, but somehow I put it 5.7 here. I got the syntax error because the int only convert integer number, right? So if you know that this one is a floating point, you have to use a float function here, not the int function, right? So in that case, I have to convert it in with the float here. Float function here. Okay, I have to convert it to a float function. So now I run it again. Right now, if I enter the floating point, it's okay. Right? That's okay. Okay, so basically, yes, that's the very basic of the Python, right? There's a Python here. So basically, for the Python, if you want to get input from user, right? If you want to get input from the user, everything by the default, it is string format. And if you want to do anything with the mathematical operation, you have to convert it into the number format. You have to convert it into the number format. And some of the operator you can work with the Python: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, right? Integer division, remainder, and exponent here. You can work with the Python. And of course, if you want to do print it out, you use a function here, print, and so on. Okay. And sometimes you want to do the calculation. So I think, yeah. I think that's all for the lecture. And you guys take a short break for 5 minutes, and we come back with some of the activity. And also in the Python, you can use a command, right? So whenever you want to use a command in Python, you use a hashtag. Okay, so we go on. I have the in-class activity here. I just activate it. Yeah, this one. So when you go to the module number 1, you scroll it down, you have in-class activity here. So in-class activity you are supposed to do it at the end to the end of this class. So I set it you here to 120 and you're done, you just submit the file. So basically that is a pseudocode and it that help you that you understand the concept of the pseudocode about the assignment, about the process of input and so on, about the variable and so on. So you have the 10 problem, right? One of them from 1 to 7 you have to find out the problem for each of the thing, and from the 8 to 10 you just find out the output. Okay, so basically it's quite simple. You just give the answer for each of the problem, what's going wrong or what are expected output here, and you submit it by 120. And if you need anything you need to have, just let me know.